Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. We have two American blended whiskeys. This one is called Quality House, and it was introduced in 1980. It's aged 3 years. Doesn't say so bottle, but the website says it. No blend ratio statement given. Has natural flavors and caramel color, and it's only 70 proof. Okay, the competitor is Bay Street Spirits Blended American Whiskey, and it's produced and bottled in Florida. So it's really Florida whiskey. Produced and bottled in Auburndale, Florida by Florida Caribbean Distillers. This has been on the market since 2010, but the distillery has been open since 1943, continuously operated since 1943. I think it was a Seagram's distillery, but when they went out of business in the year 2000, it came under other ownership. Okay. They produce a lot of products, especially famous is the Capriccio. You know, that Capriccio wine, specialty spirits. I've never had it. Okay, somebody told me it tasted like I don't know, like sugar juice. You know, like a Hawaiian punch type thing. Wouldn't surprise me. I've never had the Stella Rosa either, and I know that's popular wine specialty spirit. Right. So with the caramel color added, you get a amber appearance, sort of like, well, caramel. Just like caramel, you know, squares, except this is clear. Caramel is opaque. Now this one is very pale. It's straw. So I get the impression that they're not adding coloring. Now there's no age statement on this product, which means the straight whiskeys, the 20% straight whiskey in there is aged at least 4 years. Let me put that on there, no age statement. No age statement. It's funny because one has no age statement, the other one has no blend ratio statement. When you think of Florida, you don't often think of distilling, do you? I know I don't. It's kind of like Louisiana. Most people don't think of Louisiana as a mecca for distilling liquor, but there are some distilleries here, like Bayou Distillery in La Cassine, Louisiana, Western Louisiana. And they make various rums, which I suppose I should buy. They're not expensive. There's a distillery in New Orleans, downtown, right next to Interstate 10. We went on a tour there. It's very tiny. I wasn't paying the high price they charge. My friend David bought a bottle, but then later he regretted it. He said it wasn't bad, but it wasn't worth the price. I said, well, you know, when you go on these tourist things, they're going to have a gift shop and it's going to be elevated. You could go to Walmart and get the same thing for half, but I don't ever feel obligated to buy something from a gift shop if I don't want it. Yeah. Here we're getting wood and some corn, but I'm not getting a lot of vanilla and the nut oil and all that. So that's making me think that's the Florida Caribbean Distillers, you know, the Bay Street Spirits. Oh, $13.99, by the way, $13.99 for the handle at Total Wine and More. I haven't seen it sold anywhere else, but I don't think it's actually a private label. It just happens that Total Wine carries a lot of obscure products. And people will assume that they're, I mean, they do have some private label brands, there's no doubt. But a lot of that stuff seems to be like it must be a Total Wine brand, but it really isn't. It's just that they carry obscure things that most everybody doesn't sell. Because I've seen some products at Total Wine that I thought was a private label brand. A month later, I'm seeing it at other stores that are clearly not affiliated with Total Wine and More. So, I'm not getting a lot on aroma here, and I recall that Quality House doesn't have much aroma. needed some light. I wanted to turn the light off until I showed the products, though, because the light is so bright, it's hard to see the products. Well, vanilla and a lot of wood biting me. I'm not saying the product's bitey per se, but it's the wood note. It's kind of like toothpick wood. You don't get a lot of charred oak. I'm getting a little vanilla here, and the proof seems lower. You know what I'm saying? 35% alcohol versus 40. So it's seems like a little weaker. Now, does one taste way better or way different than the other? Honestly, I don't think so. The only thing that really is impressing me here is that it seemed like the Bay Street Spirits is not adding any flavoring or coloring. It's very pale. Now, there's another one from that company in Florida. It is called, I bought it in Texas. It's called King Square blended whiskey. Had a different blend ratio, 72.5 to 27.5. And it was very pale, nearly clear. And it was straw. This is a little yellowish straw. I know that one's not colored. The flavor wasn't bad. A little harsh on the wood, though. Maybe, Sazerac told me on the phone, Buffalo Trace. They were at Buffalo Trace, where the call center is. I said, why y'all started adding flavoring to all these whiskeys and everything like that, even tequila? He said, well, they decided to start doing that 5 years ago, which would have been 2017 at the time when I called, 2017. He said it kind of smoothed them out. In other words, I think they determined that those low-end Buffalo Trace products were kind of bitey, you know what I mean? A little harsh, so makes sense. So is the adding flavoring cheating? Yeah, it's cheating, but not really, because they're telling you on the label they're adding it. I guess they figure for $5.99 a bottle, no one's going to care much, and I'm sure they don't. But if it smooths it out, makes it taste a little nicer, well then, okay, fine. I think this is the Quality House. I like it a little better because it lacks that kind of bite, that kind of. It is the Quality House. Good. I got it wrong 4 times, but I've been getting it right lately. I have been getting it right, so I'm glad about that. We have a few taste challenges left, like Bellows Club Whiskey. That one's really bitey. That one's like toothpick bonanza. Hello, good morning. Oh, and by the way, I didn't. They were saying you're a snitch and you reported people. I didn't report anybody. They came to me. YouTube came to me and said, "Oh, they're using your content." I wouldn't have ever known about it if they hadn't alerted me. So people are saying I went and did something. I didn't do anything. True story. They alerted me, and I wouldn't have cared. I'm serious. I wouldn't have cared. I'm not too uptight about those kind of things. But so they had it backwards. They got automated systems that detect all that kind of stuff. But really, they just want people to produce their own content. They're kind of leery about people using other people's videos, I guess. I guess because that's how I found out about it, through an email from them. I would have never known, because I really only watch video reviews. I watch historical videos, documentaries, and music documentaries. Sometimes, not often. I like to watch interviews with celebrities sometimes, old ones, 40 years ago, and beer and liquor reviews and wine. But as far as comedy videos, whatever, I'm not against them. I just don't watch them. I don't have any interest in it. All right. So anyway, that's a story on that. I had made some video about the Holy Roman Empire or one of those historical Byzantine Empire or something. And they alerted me about, oh no, it's about a secret society. Yeah. And they were saying, not so secret really, because everybody knows about it, but they were saying, oh, this person used 100%. Like they just used my whole video for their video. So they didn't want that. If the guy wants to teach about end time prophecy, fine. But he needed to make his own content, you know? All right. But anyway, you know, that's the way that goes. I don't control this platform. All right. So is Bay Street Spirits worth buying? Yeah, I mean for $13.99, but it's going to be a lot of wood flavor now. You got to get that right. It's going to have some woodiness, which may or may not appear. Let's look at the label. The light is so strong, but you see it's like a cavern in Florida where they're aging the barrels. They actually do have caverns in Florida. That's not a joke. We went on a tour of Florida caverns. You wouldn't think Florida, you know, would have caves, and but they do. Even in the Bahamas, apparently there's caverns, but we didn't get to take the tour or something. I don't know. It was some reason we didn't have time. That's why. All right. So just remember the Bay Street's going to be a little wood harsh, you know, a little bit, not bad. Just tastes like whiskey. But the Quality House will be a little smoother if you like the vanilla flavors. And I think, like I say, I think they're adding vanilla and probably some kind of walnut oil or something like that. But yeah, they're low end. We get that by virtue of the fact that they were $5.99 per 750 milliliters. I don't buy a low end product and then act shocked because I knew it was cheap when I bought it. Panthers Rule says, you, same back to you, Panthers Rule. I've had people tell me before, you know, like, you know, that beer's cheap. Whatever video. I'm like, well, I know that. I bought it. I knew it was cheap. It tastes cheap. You know, it doesn't taste bad. It just doesn't taste like anything too fantastic. You know, for example, things like that. All right. So once we finish with the Canadian, once we finish with these American blended whiskeys, then it's off to the Canadian ones. Those will be I think those will be very interesting. All right. Thanks, everybody. See y'all probably tomorrow, Tuesday morning, I guess. The winner, Quality House, believe it or not. Yeah, I love Canadian whiskey too. Some people slag on it, though. They really hate it. I don't know why. It's up to you. Like what you like, hate what you hate, I guess. But I never did hate it. All right, thanks, y'all.